bitching, and I was just enamored with the level of stupidity. It was wild. Like normal people get hustled for a couple $100 and they're like, oh fuck, I'm stupid, I learned something.
Well, part of what that dude's scam was he would he would get your business information, right? You'd give it to him, and then he would go spin up a website with that name, but then he owned it, and then he'd do the 10K card thing, and then you'd be like, okay, cool, like, so give me the domain, and then he'd go, okay, I'll sell it to you. And then he wanted to sell you the domain that he only knew you would see value in because it was the name of your business. And so it was fucking weird.
Mm-hmm.
But lots of stupid people. He got called out, though, pretty significantly. I would say this, the other grifters, went for him. They turned on him. I think he fucked over the wrong person, and then you had some of the kings of that side of Clubhouse that basically said this guy's not legit, and then he left. What's crazy is if you still look at bios, there's people on here nice people, kind people, trusting people, foolishly trusting people that you're like, oh my god, they fell for the 10K cards thing. There was a guy yesterday that I hadn't seen on the app in a long, long time, and I looked at his bio and I saw the 10K card thing in his bio, and I was like, oh, not him, they got him.
All right, man, I gotta go to bed. Good night.
Have a good night. Ann, are you awake? Are you awake, Ann? Ann Hebrew? Not awake. If you're awake.
Yeah, I'm awake.
What's going on, man?
Fine. Actually, Hakima told me about gave me a name of a historian, Jewish historian who's believing there's a genocide in Gaza. And I checked this guy out. Turned out he's gone politically rogue. So that was kind of sad to know Hakima believes there's a genocide.
I think that this is what I think happens. I think that people that don't pay close enough attention to what's happening can be misled by propaganda, and then I think that the reaction that they're doing without real investigation to figure out if the claims and the propaganda is real, I think they worry about oh, well, what if I'm on the wrong side of this? I've had people call me and pull me aside and go, hey, I think you're providing too much cover for the Jews. That's what people have told me, right? You're providing too much cover for them. And I go, what do you mean cover? And they're like, well, clearly you see what media is doing, and he's harming a lot of innocent people. And I'm like, that's not clear to me at all. What's clear to me is that war came to their doorstep, and desperate times calls for desperate measures, and war is hell. And if you want me to, take my foot off the gas of, opposing terrorism, it's not happening. It's not happening. And so you have to pick your battles, but that is one that I don't care if it's family or friends, if once they start using the word genocide and they're trying to be serious, my first pass by them is to tell them that they're fucking idiots, which I should probably just try to point them in the direction of real information, but I can't help myself. I just tell them they're idiots, and then if they keep up their shit, I just can't fuck with it. If you're going to provide any type of sympathy for terrorists, I can't fuck with you. I can't fuck with you. It's just that to me it's like a morality test, an IQ test, all wrapped into one.
Yeah, it feels like the whole world turned on its head with this Gaza war. It's amazing. I mean, the UN, of course, is anti-Israel. The head of the UN, I think, is anti-Semitic. Am I right, Roger? What is your take on that?
It's funny. As pro-Jewish as I am, pro-Israeli as I am, I'm a Zionist. All these qualifiers. I will say this: I stop short of declaring if somebody is an anti-Semite or if they're just a useful idiot. I think there's probably more useful idiots than there are anti-Semites, and that's not to dismiss that there's a fucking shitload of anti-Semites. I just think that there's a large group of anti-Semites and then a factor of like 1,000 of useful idiots. And so when I hear the anti-Semitic tropes, I don't necessarily default to say that they're anti-Semitic. I just my instinct, my initial instinct is that they're just stupid or uneducated. But if you're that in the UN and you're using those tropes and fighting for policies that would be harmful to Israel, then yeah, it's a good possibility they might be anti-Semitic.
Cup of coffee with black, lots of sugar, lots of
Rich, what do you think?
No, man, thank you. We've flown together before. I don't think so, sir. You sure? Yeah, Kenneth.
I don't know why Zap always does that.
Nice to meet you.
I wholeheartedly agree. I think most people are just stupid. I think they just parrot whatever they fucking hear on social media or through their friends. But I do think there is like an underlying tone and like hatred towards Jews, and it's mostly like jealousy.
Alright, well, let's push. I got a great all-time record.
I think the most fucking unfortunate part of all of it is that, like, if you were to show me, like, that, these lefties, they hate the Jews, or if you were to say it's the righties, the thing is like, they come from all political persuasions. Like nobody's immune. Like, you can find them in every fucking camp. They just come at it from a slightly different angle. And it's gross. Like you should hear the conversations I have with libertarians. The libertarians start with the idea of like, hey, we shouldn't be giving all this money to Israel. And what's interesting is like I listen to that and I'm like, well, yeah, I don't like foreign aid, including to our friends.
Most Jews agree too.
My thought would be, well, that's a rich country and they're our friend. We should give them access to the best weapons and they can buy them. And like, to me, that seems like a fair fucking deal. Like, I think we should sell. Here's the weird thing: the U.S. has a history of giving weapons even to our enemies, right? I think that we should, with a country like Israel, we should give them the best of the best. But then just say, hey, you can buy anything. And by the way, you can pay on time. We'll just put a small little interest rate on that. I think that's a fair deal. I mean, what we get, because like I come from a high tech background, and like I know cybersecurity pretty well. And the one thing I can tell you is that while the attackers are most advanced in China, the people, the white hats, the ones that are trying to defend against these cyber attacks, there's nowhere on planet Earth where you have more sophisticated tools to defend against cyber attacks than Israel. Like these startups that come out of Israel are fucking amazing. And in fact, even large security companies in the U.S., like under the fucking hood of their security products that are really well known, is an acquisition that they made of a fucking Israeli company and a brain trust of Israelis. They really dove deep into the pool. And for that, I mean, like strategically, even if like your politics didn't line up with them, it would just be like, shit, we need them for cybersecurity. Can you imagine if the U.S. wasn't aligned with them and Israel was, sharing their cybersecurity tooling with and knowledge and processes with people we don't like, that would be terrible.
Yeah, I was watching that Surrounded video where it's like 20 far right people versus that Mahdi guy or whatever for MSNBC or CNN, whatever. And like, I'm wanting to root for them and shit, but the entire time they're like, oh yeah, it's the fucking Jews, it's the fucking Jews, the fucking, and I'm like, fuck, like, I can't even be friends with you guys. I can't even be like on your side. Like, everything is a secret fucking conspiratorial bullshit. It's like, no, Jews are just successful, so get the fuck over it and stop making it sound like, they're just all the Jews in the world are orchestrating this secret cabal, like, fucking ruin the world. I mean, if you want to point to certain examples of fucking assholes, yeah, we can all agree that fucking Larry Fink is a piece of shit. I think Ric Flair wants
Ric Flair's coming out? What the hell?
Yeah, Ric Flair, 16-time champion, something.
The Nature Boy. What?
I think he's throwing it just for you.
Maybe he's legit. What's up, Nate? It's somebody we know because they don't want to use their voice. Alright, well, you got about 30 seconds to start talking, or we're going to remove you and block you, and you'll never be in the room again.
Pre-approved for our Sapphire Preferred card. $95 fee plus.
I'm going to count to 3, backwards from 3.
I think we're going to need
3.
How much were we thinking?
2.
I know, right? $1,000 in your bank account. Google it.
Okay.
It's okay, don't be shy.
Alright.
Hey, Roger? Roger?
You are now what we call the bank account.
Not very well played.
WI. It means ultra high net worth individual. Congratulations. In your case, the challenge is that your business has received billions.
Why do people do that?
Still only have
maybe it's
$48,000.
relatively beneficial.
The value of your shares can't be accessed without a liquidity event. So your
I wish the guy that came in called a Truth
Make me liquid, JB. Make me liquid.
when it came to the stage. He says significant evidence suggests Aisha was 19, not 9. I'd like to see significant evidence that counters what Aisha herself said.
He might be a Shia.
Sapphire Preferred card. $95 annual fee.
There's also like some Iranian Muslims.
We're going to need a bit more than that. How much?
Yeah, I think the best, I don't know if I told you this, but the best defense I heard was that of Islamic defense was how Muhammad did not hurt Aisha, because they say the principle is that it's not bad as long as there is no harm. And so the question is, how did Muhammad not harm a 9-year-old? And one person said that Muhammad had a small dick. So their defense that he didn't hurt her because he had a small dick.
I know she was unable to ever conceive and have children, so maybe he wrecked her insides, which is fucking disgusting. I'm glad that he died from poison.
Yeah, it's probably why he didn't fuck her when she was 6, because he knew he'd probably wreck with a dick, even his size.
Yeah, as long as you don't tear them from their vagina to their rectum, you're okay. That's what their hadith says. Come on, you filthy muzzies down in the audience. Come on up. I said y'all in. But
Rich, do you believe that there's good Muslims?
insofar that they don't actually believe in Islam and actually keep the tenets or the teachings of Islam, yeah. I think like some secular progressive hijabi girl working at Starbucks. It's like, oh, I love everybody, the Jews and the Christians, and oh, I don't really like know the Quran and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I think she's okay. But the problem is she'll still, if you push her hard enough, because they're usually indoctrinated and like fucking have Stockholm syndrome, that they will end up just validating all the shit. They'll be like, yeah, well, I mean, he's the prophet of God, so if he wants a fucking 9-year-old, Allah says it's okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said in the room earlier, in the other room, I said that, like, I wouldn't have much of an issue with Islam if they were just talking about, charity, one of their greatest pillars. I wouldn't have as much of an issue with it. I mean, if they weren't defending, child marriage, then, I would think it would actually be positive.
Yeah, hey guys, how are you guys doing? So I'm like an American Egyptian, right? Grew up in Egypt and done a lot of Islam, right? But it's great to see like you guys in Egypt.
Are you Coptic, Sever?
Yeah, I'm Coptic.
Oh, okay, good. Peace and blessings.
Thank you. So yeah, like Muhammad. Of course, you know about the famous hadith, right? Of Muhammad having sex with Aisha. When she was 9, right? And actually, sources say that she was still playing with dolls, right? She still didn't menstruate.
Yeah, she was playing with the dolls, and the 2 women picked her up and drug her to Muhammad's room. She said she didn't know.
And he says that she didn't know what was happening, right? Like, being delivered in Muhammad. Yeah.
And that's the interesting thing is, like, in Islam, I believe it's like, past the age of 9, you're not allowed to have, like, objects like dolls because it's considered idolatry, but it's like, it's acceptable for like a young age. And so it's like,
well, yeah, what it says is any woman who's playing with dolls is not mature.
Well, it's considered idolatry pretty much. I mean, it's because, of course, in Islam, like, I mean, having something like, even like a picture of your family is considered idolatry.
Yeah, and so there is a hadith that says that angels don't enter the house or the homes where there are statues, right?
Oh yeah, Muhammad is statues. The black dog under his bed.
Yeah, and they would consider dolls to be like statues, right? So they would only permit, like according to Islamic jurisprudence, they would only permit dolls for young girls who have not yet menstruated or reached puberty. And they made that concession because of the Aisha hadith where she was still playing with dolls. Right, and they were saying like she still didn't yet reach puberty or menstruate during the time when Muhammad was having sex with her and consummated the marriage with her.
It's interesting.
So Prophet also told that in the vagina there is an angel which tells ding dong when semen comes up.
I love the Indians. The Indians hate the Muslims so much. Go ahead.
In Prophet Muhammad told in hadith, in the girl's vagina there are no eggs. There is angel waiting when semen enters. They told it to God that semen has arrived.
There's angels in the vagina, and that they tell the eggs that the semen's there. Like,
eggs are not there.
Hey, eggs, get ready. The sperm's here.
They didn't know about the eggs till that time. So
Wait, hold on. Is this Farouk?
I've never heard that one specifically. It might, but the problem is there's like fucking millions and millions of hadiths. I mean, like, there's so many hadiths. There's a
Can somebody break me down this thing about the donkey though?
Which one? About having sex with a donkey and still be clean for Hajj, or?
I thought it was like a transvestite donkey.
Oh no, the gay donkey. He asked the donkey, says, "Do you like women?" And the donkey says, "No, I do not like women."
Wow, how come Adams isn't coming up here?
It's interesting on Severin. Like, I would like to hear more from like Christians in like countries like in like your case in Egypt, where there is legitimate religious persecution. I'd say particularly because just here in the United States, I think when there's a lot of religious talk about religious persecution, not to say that there are not people who are legitimately persecuted for having a different religion or treated unfairly, but I mean, in the Middle East, it's something I wish the media would cover more.
Sever and tell about the pogroms.
Sorry, what, Rich?
Oh, I said sever and tell about the pogroms.
About the what? Sorry?
The pogroms.
Pogroms?
Yeah, the pogroms. So like when they go through and like attack the Coptics and shit, and burn their churches and shit, like in Egypt.
Oh, yeah. The Copts in Egypt, yeah, they do face severe persecution. It's really bad. When I was living in Egypt, for example, when it comes, you find it at all levels, right? This type of persecution, like even at the simplest level of playing sports, right? You're not going to be picked, at the finest elite teams, right? Like in Egypt, for example, in the Egyptian National League, like soccer is the national, sport, right? No Christian plays in that league. They don't allow any Christians. You're never going to have like this very high level job, right, at the workforce. They don't allow surgeons to be Christians, right, because it's like the highest level of, MD, right, medical doctor, and they only give it to Muslims. You can't really serve with the government, right? Even like right now, there's like a huge backlash that's going on because they just gave like a 25-year sentence to an 80-year-old Christian, 80-year-old Christian, in which the Muslim Brotherhood accused him of sexually assaulting a child, right? And they brought the forensic doctor, right, who handled the case, and he actually in the court testified and said no, the child wasn't touched at all, right? And they still gave him a 25-year sentence just for the sake of it, right? It's now making the rounds. It's like there's like I think there's like a global they made it into the global news, right? That no, like Egypt is like so wrong when it comes to like handling justice between like Christians and Muslims, right? So it's like really, really bad, in Egypt.
Yeah, and I mean it's like in general, it's like I know there's like passages like in the Quran where it says like to subjugate everyone to the
jizya. Yeah, you have to pay.
Yeah, like it says to Christians and Jews are the only people who get to live, and they have to pay a punitive tax.
No. So it says the Jews. It says go and kill all the polytheists, and then in Surah 9:30, it says the Jews call Ezra the son of God, so they're polytheists, and the Christians call Jesus the son of God, which makes it polytheists. So when it says go and kill all the polytheists, it's talking about Jews and Christians too.
Yeah, so like the jurists are going to say like fundamentally, right? The infidels, right? Their blood is permissible, right? And that's the purpose behind this religion is to convert everyone, right, and make them be subjugated to Islam, right? It's an evil, terrible religion. Like, it's a terrible religion.
Yeah, slaves, because that's what being a Muslim means. It means one who it doesn't mean one who submits to Allah. It means one who's a slave to Allah.
Well, like to me, like I said, it's like I mean I don't try to say that anybody's judged any specific religion. It's all about what its adherents believe, and like one of the things I find unfair, like in the West, is that we seem to like collectivize when it's racism, when it like the left will collectivize racism, of course, and misogyny. Like this is one of the things I pointed out. It's like the Santa Barbara shooting happened in 2014. It blamed they blamed chauvinism, saying that you enabled this guy to do it. And they said the white supremacist a year later who shot the church in Charleston, that racism, systemic racism, was what caused it. Society enabled it. And then 2016 comes, you have the Orlando shooting. Who was a Muslim? However, that guy was a lone wolf. Does not represent all Muslims.
So you're absolutely correct, and I would say that we should be very like, you know, Muslims and Islam, right? Like the adherence of their religion and the religion itself is going to teachings, right? And so my criticisms always pertain to the religion, right? Not to the adherence.
Hey, what's going on, my nigger?
But the problem is just like with Sunni Islam, like that religion itself has really bad teachings. Now the adherents not applying that teaching is because maybe it's a lack of knowledge of what's in their books and what their religion actually teaches, or because of fear or something like that, right? But my criticisms, like you said, Necro, is always pertaining to the religion aspect and not to the people or the adherents, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So, Moab, you're gonna have to stop saying the N-word. So I'm not gonna lie back up unless you apologize, and if you say it again, I'm gonna remove you from the room. Just fair warning.
What do you guys think? Oh, go ahead. Sorry, sir.
Oh no, I said you meant the MC guy, Necro.
Yeah, that's the guy I'm talking about.
Gotcha.
It's good. Carry on.
Yeah. What do you guys think? Like, the United States should do politically when it comes to like this political ideology called Islam, because I do consider it to be more of a political ideology than a religion. Like I think like there's, I mean, I don't know like how there can be some restriction on the practice. I mean, I don't know, like maybe they could ban some books because some classical books pertaining to that religion or political ideology is very, very bad. Like, you know, announcing jihad against unbelievers and all of that stuff, right? What do you guys think should happen?
Well, I'll tell you what you shouldn't do. You shouldn't ban books. That's first and foremost. You don't ban the book. You have to educate people. You have to. The problem is you got to recognize that there are people that want to organize a society. There's different ways to do it. You do have to rally your society around particular agreements, and I just think it's weird that when you look at some of the text, that there's 2 billion people that have signed on and co-signed with nations that and leaders and religious zealots that are saying, yeah, hey, this is the way to go. This is the way to organize our society. And the only thing I can think of for that large of a number is that they're just ruled by fear. This happens to a lesser degree in the West, where like when I lived in California, I swear to Christ, like no pun intended, that the people that were they're apolitical until they go to college or they get in the workforce, and then all of a sudden, the people that are responsible for giving you a job or the people that are responsible for promoting you in a job, they have this kind of group think thing going on. And then there's people that I know that like they were either like in a different camp politically or religiously or just didn't care, and then all of a sudden they get into the workforce in the San Francisco Bay Area and they get turned out, and then the only other extreme that happens is like that they're so turned off that they end up hating the left. And so like I feel like the American left, like especially in like the San Francisco Bay Area, that shows me a glimpse of the control that you can have over other people that probably wouldn't buy this shit. But if you're responsible for their well-being and their upward mobility in society or whatever it might be, or just fucking clout in general, it does change the way people think about things. And so I have to imagine that most of them are just pressured into it.
Oh, hey, Roger. I gotta ask you a question. John says, ask Roger if he will consult with candidate Kitover on Federal Reserve and Treasury reform and congressional campaign strategy. He text messaged me and sent a screenshot that he's in one of the anonymous accounts.
Oh, what is the exact ask here? Because I will tell you.
With me a second. Hold on.
Yeah, I will tell you. I've been very impressed. I still don't know why he plays my rooms, but like he's been fucking streaming rooms that show like just how evil some of these terrorists are, and I don't know. I've kind of changed my thoughts on him. I actually think
John's awesome when he's not like playing around. Like he's brilliant, dude. I mean, But he says, ask Roger if he will consult with candidate Kitover on Federal Reserve and Treasury reform and congressional campaign strategy.
Tell him to come up on the stage and we'll consult right now.
He's not there, not missing out.
Tell him to get on it.
What up, Johnny boy? You got like 70 phones, bro.
Yeah. I just want to say something before that. Like, one of the things, like you said, with Muslims, if they were to acknowledge, like, on the question of Muhammad, is like, yeah, they agree that it's something that, you know, should not be, that is immoral, that Muhammad did, and should not be implemented in society, then that would be great for them to say. I would have complete respect for them, wouldn't have an issue with them. But that's simply the thing that they, you know, for some reason can't say, you know, and that's the thing that I find disgusting.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, go ahead, yeah, nice to see you.
Me too. I recognize your voice, but I don't remember your previous name.
Because I keep changing my name. Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
What was your original name?
I've gone through a lot of names, like Adam Cobb, Severin, yeah, I've gone through like all of these different.
Yeah, I know your name. I know your voice. I just didn't know that.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, your question, like how the United States can fight the ideology of Islam, I would say, how did the American fight communism? Because I think Islam is not really a religion; it's closer to an ideology like communism. Because when you look closer, like you have to look at the project of the Muslim community. What are their hopes? And so for me, the Ummah itself is God. They worship themselves because they are considering themselves as, you know, on a higher moral ground than the rest of the people, and they are responsible to execute God's plan. So to provoke the apocalypse or to convert the whole society, like the whole world, into Islam. And Necro, that's the problem we have, because it's a constant revolution they want to implement towards the 7th century ideal. So they will never be able to be against Muhammad himself, his behavior, and their legal system who comes to clash and to compete with the secular system. The Sharia is directly based on his behavior. So when you give it time and number of Muslims, they will automatically relapse to that kind of Islam, because that's the project.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, though.
Well, hold on. Before you go, Necro, I just want to clarify something. I just want to get a clarification. So what you're saying is they essentially come here, behave themselves, but they're like just a sleeper cell waiting to be activated once the numbers are run.
Yes, willingly or not. But some people are willing, like, buying the possibility that their Islam can be coexistent and modern. But when the numbers grow, it's always relapsing to this system of rigid Sharia law, because that's the ideal. And if they don't achieve that, then they're not closer to God. So that's the problem we have. If we use words that are more complicated, it's a millenarist dream where the Messiah is not sent by God or something like happening to them, like when God decides. It's when the Ummah is in action. So they are basically the community is God, and they are realizing God's plan. So this is completely delusional, and I say it's closer to ideologies like communism, because communism, they thought that they could achieve the perfect society if the community was building a certain project and demonizing the opponents. So it has more to do with those ideologies than other Abrahamic religions. Islam, for me, is not an Abrahamic religion at all. And that's how it was designed in its early stages. Muhammad was an apocalyptic preacher. He says that the end is near. So it's not a long-term society model. It's a delusional dream. And later the caliphates rebranded this religion that was false into something for the longer term. And so that's when we have this Islam we know today is a product of an imperialistic theocracy. So.
Hey Roger. Hey, John said you have to unblock him. He can't come in.
No,
Which one do I have to unblock?
Well, I guess one of them. He said like his 50 accounts have been unblocked.
All right, hold on.
He said it's the at Rep John Kitover.
All right, hold on.
REP.
Hey, Aya, what's up?
hi.
Hi, here.
Tend to try to marginalize what the meaning of religion is because every person's interpretation is completely cultural, and so what individuals their beliefs have is really the only thing that matters to me, and so that being said, I'm very skeptical of the idea that every Muslim who wants to establish Sharia in the United States.
I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying the mechanism of the ideology will lead people to do that. That's not what they wish for. I used to be a moderate Muslim. I know how it feels like to be unwillingly an agent of this ideology to keep surviving and functioning until our dream was to convert the West. My mission was to make Islam look good so that people found it appealing. And that was our dream, to make France Muslim one day. So if it cannot happen by this war, I don't want to say that, by war, because it's illegal in the West, you can implement it by conversion. So, I mean, I wasn't an evil person, but I was part of an evil ideology. That's my point.
Yeah.
I'm not. Yeah, it's a virus. It's a virus.
Exactly. Yeah. Because I want to ask you this, Necro and everyone else, right? Like, well, can't someone make the same case with Nazism? Like, let's say someone was born into a Nazi family, right? And they weren't aware of the evils of Hitler and the Nazi ideology. Does that mean that they just get they just get off the hook, maybe, or that we shouldn't try to educate them or try to make them believe that ideology, right? Of course, we should try or make an attempt to make them believe that ideology, right? I consider this religion to be exactly I actually consider their prophet to be exactly like Hitler, right? There really is no difference in their ideology being Nazi ideology. And so yeah, I mean, maybe I'll talk to a lot of the adherents of the religion. They're not aware of his marriages, right, to even young children, right? His wife, right, was a 9-year-old girl. But in those circumstances, we should make them be aware, right, of those issues, right, and try to educate them what was being said previously, right, Necro? Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think it's interesting though. You have it where it's Islam is a very popular religion that prisoners. It seems to be a hot spot for a lot of prisoners in the United States, or for people who go to prison. And it's just in general though. I wonder sexually though. I think that if they found out that Muhammad, particularly a lot of African Americans who say the Nation of Islam, who say that Muhammad, that Christianity is a white man's religion, but Muhammad was one that was freed black men. I wouldn't most of them are not aware that Muhammad was the whitest person who would have been insulted. He said insulted.
And then he traded somebody black slaves for
Yeah, well, also he would have been insulted if anybody suggested that he was black, and so I don't know. I understand not being into Christianity, but why can't you convert to a real black man's religion, or religion that most people would follow? That would be about liberation. But
Muhammad, in a way, was a little bit racist, right?
Well, you must respect the Ethiopian, even if he has a head like a raisin.
yeah, I mean, pretty much everybody was a racist back then, but yeah, Muhammad was definitely a racist. So,
Hey, DJ. Go ahead.
I want to ask, when the girl become able to get married?
When they're prepubescent.
Yeah, there isn't an age, chat. I think they say like she has to be physically ready, but not. It doesn't have to be puberty, right?
Well,
Just
65 more the Quran where it talks about the iddah. Yeah, it says the three different criteria for iddah is a woman who's pregnant. You have to wait till the baby's born, then you can divorce her. Then the second one is a woman who's menopausal. You have to wait 3 months menstrual cycles to make sure that she's not pregnant before you divorce her. And the third one is a woman who's too young to have menstruated, meaning that the man and all others are permissible. But it says so that means that the marriage.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I've always wanted to know what the alternative meaning of that verse is, because it's like if it says, including those women whose wives who have not yet menstruated, like what is the, like how do you not imply that, it's women who have been married who are prepubescent?
What's that?
Well, because it doesn't say women who do not menstruate, like women who are, things like that. It's ones who are.
Oh, yeah, you'd have to read the tafsir where it says that the tafsir is the scholarly interpretation.
It's all the other women.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It says not yet. It doesn't say does not menstruate. It doesn't say. It's not talking about.
When it says the ones that have not menstruated.
Yeah. Well, I thought it said actually specifically who have not yet menstruated.
Yeah, they had the menstruation yet.
Yeah, so they were like, they had their, which implies that they're going to, they just haven't been able to yet.
That's right. And there is, of course, like a consensus, right? So in Islamic jurisprudence, there's this idea of a consensus. So there has been a consensus throughout the ages, right? Throughout the history of this religion that this verse permits young girls who have not yet menstruated to get married and for the marriage to be consummated.
So, was Islam the cause of this problem?
Well, yeah.
How?
Oh, because it teaches it, right? It teaches. Wait, what? Are you talking like in society in general, like people being like bad, like sexually? Yeah, I mean, if someone's not Muslim, then it's not going to be Islam being the case, right? But if you're talking about like Islam teaching like child marriage, then yeah, it does teach child marriage.
Now there is nothing in the Quran say that you are allowed to marry a girl that is not able to get married.
Be explicit.
Hold on, DJ. But what about what did Aisha say in the hadith about her age when she was married and the age that she was when she had sex?
So she has sex with he and she is ready.
No, wait, hold on. So you think that 9 years old is ready?
Yes.
Wow, that's.
How do you know it's not ready?
Welcome to Islam, everyone.
Okay, again, no, hold on. I just want to say, Adams, this is why we talk about it. Because guys like this will admit, they will acknowledge that this is what they do. See, it's one thing when people hear us criticizing it. It's a whole other thing when you get them to acknowledge it themselves. So, this is why we have to talk about it.
Yeah, so DJ, your argument is... Hold on, DJ. So your argument is pretty much if it's old enough to bleed, it's old enough to breed.
Yeah. That they even have to be grass on the field, just like the buddy said.
Sounds like a pretty juicy conversation you got going on.
Oh, we're talking, Captain. We're talking about the people that are ruining your country currently, the Muslims, Africans, and Middle Easterns.
Roger, can I make have an on take here? Because
Why would tonight be any different? Go ahead.
see, as important as this may sound to people with
Friends, can I come off the beat? Cause that beat ain't subtracting, man. This is my name. Hey, my name is Terrell. Make it spell. If I'm not
button up there.
Okay. Yeah, come back up.
Wait, hold on. Don't move him now. Listen, I know everybody's got a mod badge, but listen, we're gonna just give you a rule. You can come back up, but your next rap has to be a good one. We'll give you 90 seconds, uninterrupted, and it's gotta be good. Listen, now check this out. We're gonna listen for 90 seconds. After 90 seconds, you keep spitting. But after 90 seconds, all of the moderators can throw you down from the audience. That basically means they disapprove of your ability to rap. So I'm going to bring you up. Well, let's see how long you can last. Let him go for at least 90 seconds.
All these damn instructions ain't making no noise, no disrespect, but the time ain't ran out with the 90 seconds, and I hope your ass is really counting the disrespect of the ears, cause the ears really counting. My name is Terrell, the noble boy. I hope that everybody's feeling that they smack ass back in the rear. Make it clear, yeah, I got people in the back of this bitch. Know my name is Rick James, ain't 60 secondly. Who the strangers? That symbol on my head, the number 2 username in the motherfucking building. That JPG ain't looking stranger, cause that look like me, and me is my network. Ballin' like I'm who you know that viral tech merge. Looking like you disrespect my flow again, my microphones. Talking about in your hallways. Hit that button, we always.
Well, it looks like he made 91 seconds. So I don't know which one of you guys threw him down, but he made 1 second beyond the limit. So congratulations. If I had to grade this is what I would say. I think the audacity that he has to, in public, perform, I'll give him credit for that. Because that's not nothing. There's something about that. I want to be as positive as I can here. I'm going to do the Paula Abdul version. Somebody else could be this time, Cal.